This game is rated M for mature. Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Bayonetta 2. In the last episode, we kicked some butt with the Umbran armor on our way to the Umbran clock tower to try to defend it. And in this episode, we will finally arrive. It's only taken 2 chapters. Okay, so as you might expect, we're gonna have a verse here, and this verse is quite extensive, so be prepared for some fighting, because we're gonna be fighting a lot of things. So we'll be running the gamut of kind of Bayonetta 1 enemies, so we're starting off with affinities and applaud here, and then we'll run into the other variant of applaud, and I'll just kind of talk about the rest of them as they come. I mean, we have encountered, I think, most of them at this point. You know, in the previous chapters, but this is kind of, you know, putting it all together. Alright, so I'm gonna actually save my magic here for a little bit later, I think. Oh, wow. I dodged at the right time, even though I could not see the attack there. So yeah, we have a Grace and Glory to deal with here. I would recommend taking out one of them before the other, as usual. Now, apparently I got hurt there. It's kind of hard to tell because I attacked through it, but in any case, don't worry about like your combo dropping. It's probably going to happen at some point, like it just happened to me again there. This is a big arena, and sometimes enemies spawn farther away, so there's not much you can do to kind of keep your combo going. I mean, the combo requirement is pretty strict. For this one, I think you have to get at least 100,000. Like when I did it in practice, I was able to get a platinum on that with 120. And you'll probably take some damage too, given how long this is. But next wave has Fearless and Fairness in it, and also some kinships actually. You have to watch out. The game doesn't really expect you to kill them, and that's not actually me killing them. That's Rosa doing that. You can attack them, but they're not really going to net you that much in the way of combo points. There's one thing I will say about fighting with Rosa, is that you kind of run into the same problem sometimes that you do with the Rodin fight in Chapter 10, because sometimes she can, you know, force the enemies into doing their kind of counter animation, where after you do enough damage to them, they will try to basically block your attack and counter attack. And when they do that, your attacks won't actually land on them. So if Rosa is attacking too frequently, sometimes she can make the enemies counter, and then your combo drops that way, which is a bit unfortunate. And it also makes it harder to rack up combo points as well. So I believe this is going to be the last round of this verse, and it has 2 beloveds in it. Just be careful when there are still 2 of them on the field that you don't lose sight of the other one, because, you know, it has a pretty big attack range with that giant axe there, and if you run into that, it does a lot of damage. I ended up getting a silver on damage there, so took a little bit too much damage during that segment, which is unfortunate. But coming up after that verse is a fight against Temperantia. So this fight, not really too bad. I think most of its attacks are aren't that hard to dodge. You know, the punches, they are a little bit faster than you might expect them to be, but you can... My combo dropped there. I don't exactly know why, but they are kind of fast, but at the same time, you know, you can definitely see the windup for them. So they're a little bit easier to deal with, at least in that regard. You know, you can see them coming. I could have sworn that I dodged through that one. But yeah, I definitely like this fight more than the Bayonetta 1 fight, just because in that version of the fight, you're trying to walk around on floating platforms, and ooh, yeah, that combo drop really killed my combo score on that, apparently.
The symbol of the Umbran way. No! There's no way that this could have been his plan.
So these Vigor chapters really are like just one giant stretch of fan service here, because if you remember the Records of Time in the first game, where you're fighting on the falling Umbran clock tower during the Great War, that's this scene right here. Now, granted, you're fighting with Rosa here instead of with Jean, but you know, got the same music to it, so this is a really cool moment. This verse isn't too bad. I think you just have to deal with the affinities for the most part. You're going to have Inspired kind of flying through the arena every so often, and those can hurt you, so you just have to watch out for them. But other than that, it's pretty short, sweet, and to the point. I feel like there's always one that comes like after the verse is done that can hit you. Depending on how long it actually takes to kind of cut into this next sequence here.
Oh, so sorry, love. Kind of missed a bit there. Little one. Here to guide you as always. Someone sent you back 500 years, it seems. I see you've already discovered the truth. They don't call you the left eye for naught, do they? Who are you? Never mind that. Something more important to talk about, my dear. The witch and the sage are still alive. Trifling creatures, both of them. I must be rid of them as soon as possible. I want what they have. I want back what is mine. The eyes of the world. What? The other me escaped to the future, and I can't let him have them. Which is why I must see you eliminated, my dear.
So we are going to have ourselves a boss fight with Loptr here, which is basically the evil half of Aesir, you know, kind of the counterpart to Loki. And this fight, I actually really enjoy this fight a lot. I think it's one of the better designed fights in the game, just in terms of like you can actually tell what's going on. Yep, and my combo dropped there, unfortunately, but still, I will stand by what I said about this fight. So most of his attacks are punches of one various sort or another. He has kind of the rapid jab one, the one where he punches with both hands, or kind of both arms at the same time, the single punch. He also has some other attacks that are more kind of projectile based, but in my experience he doesn't tend to use those quite as often. Once you get his health down to a certain point here, he's going to throw a giant meteorite at us, and unlike the first game, you don't actually have to do a reaction command in order to bring up this kind of torture attack counter. they made it a little bit easier in that regard. You know, you don't have to kind of play catch or tennis or volleyball, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so music that's playing is Beyond Time again. So same one as the Prophet fight back in Chapter 9. Said it before and I'll say it again. I really love this track. This is a great boss track. So getting towards the end of his health bar, it's not really that long of a fight as long as you're not getting hit a lot. So I want to say I only got hit the one time. So we'll see how much damage I ended up taking, but all in all, that was a pretty good fight. Aside from the one combo drop at the beginning, ended up getting to a 9.99 multiplier at the end.
If you'll excuse me, my dear.
Yeah, 80 damage. No, I literally got hit once.
If I got it right, then this gate should lead to... Whoa. Kid! Hey, pull yourself together. What happened?
Luca, was it? You know the way to Fimbulventr, right? Please, take me there. I remember. I remember everything. I have to hurry.
Are you nuts, kid? We need to get you patched up.
There's no time. Please take me to Fimbulventr, or the world will end. He and I, we are good and evil. Evil cannot be all that is left.
What?
Keep us safe with this. It's my trump card. Please. Just take me there.
Girls passing out in front of me I'm used to. But this is unbelievable. Well, I guess it beats addicting toddlers to lollipops.
It's a cute little reference to the first game. But I want to point out, though, they're already on Fimbulventr. We'll be getting there soon enough, but that is literally the area right before the final boss that they're at. So the whole kind of take me to Fimbulventr thing doesn't really make sense because they're already kind of there. But if you've played the first game, this should look familiar. The Rising Crescent Valleys. This appears in Chapter 5 in that game. And just like in that game, we have a short verse here with some decorations. Basically, don't get hit, and you'll get a pure platinum on that. Also, like the first game, we have a verse with Grace and Glory here. So this was actually the place where they were introduced in the first game. Yeah, having really weird combo drops, like it's hard to look at your combo meter all the time, you know, if you're trying to avoid getting hit and concentrate on the battle. So sometimes it's hard to tell, like, oh yeah, I only have one segment left and it ran out. And it's also playing, I think that's Riders of the Light. Could be wrong. Future me can correct me if I misheard that, but it's not playing the regular Bayonetta 2 battle theme. Ooh, that was not so pretty. So this gate will lead to the end of the chapter. So if you want to get, there's an optional verse over here, as well as a Muspelheim portal and a chest. So if you want to get all of that stuff, don't press Y on that just yet. So I'm pretty sure this this verse here is a semi-repeat of the verse that was here in Bayonetta 1 as well. Like, I'm pretty sure you also face a Fearless and Fairness here. Although I think there's like another part to that verse in terms of there are more enemies that show up before those two. That's all there is to that one. Feel kind of stupid for getting hit by that first attack there, but it happens. Yeah, came up a bit short on the combo score too. I do have to say though, I really like the look of this area at night. You don't get to see most of this corridor at night because in the first game there's like an object that you can use to change the time from day to night here, but you start out during the daytime. So first things first, we'll be taking this Muspelheim portal and taking on the challenge that lies within. Okay, so this is a particularly interesting Muspelheim one. So say hello to our new weapons because I haven't gone over to that side of the menu in a while. But this is one of those don't touch the ground ones, and as you can tell, there's only one pillar there. So this one can be really, really annoying if you don't know the strategy. And I got hit there, which means I'm not going to have the best time, but this one's really easy as long as you just have Love is Blue equipped to both of your main hand item slots, and then you just do like 3 hits of the air combo with Hold Fire, and then just switch to the other weapon set. If you do that, you can essentially not lose any height, and that makes this really easy. Because during the first section with the decorations, you're not really going to be at too much of a risk of the platform disappearing underneath you. And so, really, it's just that Beloved, which, will most definitely destroy the platform once it spawns in. So at that point, you have to essentially do the rest of the fight without landing on that platform, ever. That's not really too difficult of a one to get a pure platinum on. You just really have to not get hit and do a little bit better with the combo score than I did. But all in all, not a terribly difficult Muspelheim once you know the right thing to do. So this here is actually the last resting place in the game. And it's also the most difficult. So, props to the developers for making this one, pretty challenging. So you have to get up on the pillars here and kind of get across them pretty quickly. So I'd recommend using Panther Within to make most of the jumps because it's just the fastest way. Honestly, I think that the part that I find the hardest with this is just getting up in the first place. And the strategy that I've kind of come up with that usually works the best for me is double jumping, doing a wall jump and then landing on top of the arch there to get up. But it's not a very easy landing place. You can see I'm having trouble getting up there again to just kind of show off that strategy. So there you go. But inside is a Broken Witch Heart. You will get an achievement for unlocking all of the resting places, and I think that one applies specifically to the resting places, like the blue ones that you have to collect the pieces for, because there is one more chest in the next chapter that obviously is not the same. So you'll get the achievement for finding all of those. Without further ado, though, let's finally open, even though it's kind of slightly ajar anyways, but let's go inside.
Rosa! Rosa!
You saw the emblem on his forehead. He's the one you're really after.
What?
We need to get back to my tunnel. We can open a portal from here.
What I want to know is, has Bayonetta had this power all along? Is there something special about this area? Why couldn't we have used this sooner? You know, if it wasn't an area-specific thing for that. Yeah, just food for thought there. If you check in on them, there's a little text, you know, Baldur draws close to Rosa, he is overcome with grief. So we're bringing back Witch Walk here. Albeit briefly.
Baldur! Dimensional portal is opening! We need to get back to my time! Quickly! There's no time!
Baldur, please take care of Cereza. Our dear sweet child will awaken to her potential. She will awaken to the eyes of the
Rosa!
Baldur!
Mummy.
Mummy! No!
And that will actually do it for this chapter. It's not a super long chapter. I think part of the reason for that is
Like my new hair.
the fact that you have the big boss fight with Loptr in it. That, and it's a decent place to divide it story-wise, so I can understand why this one is the length that it is. And just got like a lot of golds this time around, but the game still gave me a platinum for whatever reason, so you know, whatever, I'll take it. And you get the verse card for that. But I'm glad Baldur has finally come to his senses and realized that Loki and Loptr are not the same, you know, entity or person, even if they came from, you know, they both came from Aesir. And now he's being a little bit more cooperative with us. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next episode, which will be the, you know, quote-unquote finale of the main story here. So stay tuned for that. But for now, thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Bayonetta 2. I've been redxparasite, signing out.